Okay guys, we need to chat. If you're rude to your servers, this video is straight to you, okay? I'm not kidding. I'm very, very, very opinionated on this topic. I think that being rude to servers, wait staff, virtually anyone who works in a restaurant makes you the lowest of low people. So this video is dedicated to you. I'm so sorry if you're offended. Honestly, if you're gonna be offended by this, maybe just turn this video off right now and then we don't have to deal with it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliana Murphy. I make videos about all kinds of different things. Some of my latest videos were a Christmas present list, a Christmas decorating video, and getting ready for work. So I do all kinds of different videos. But this video is more of an opinion video. Plus I want to share with you some of my waitress horror stories just for your sheer amusement, I guess. So anyway, if you guys are watching this video, I'd absolutely appreciate it if you like this video, leave a comment down below letting me know what you want to see next, and subscribe to my channel. But I've got lots to say, so I want to get right into this video, so here we go. So I feel like it's known by most of my subscribers that I work in a restaurant. One of my latest videos was me getting ready for work and talking about how much I love my work, and that's absolutely true. I love the people I work with, and I actually really enjoy my job. I mean, being a waitress is never going to be my career, but for a current job, it's doing really well for me. I'm making enough money to survive off of. I mean, I'm living at home right now, but it's a good amount of money for me to be living my life, and frankly I do enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy all my regular customers. I enjoy meeting different people every day and hearing their stories and learning about who they are, and I just think that being a waitress is a pretty fulfilling job most of the time. But every once in a while there's just a day that absolutely sucks. Like I can't even joke about it because it makes me so upset that there are days, like once every 4 months, that are horrible. And basically the reality of it is customers are just horrible and it makes you want to quit. And I'm not gonna lie, that happened to me 2 days ago and I want to talk about why. So this is number 1 of my waitress horror stories. I think I've got a huge repertoire of these, but there's just 2 I want to share with you today because one of them is kind of offensive and the other one's just astoundingly stupid. So I think this will be a good chat, and then I want to round this whole video off with a little of my opinions about people who don't tip in restaurants. So here we go with my first story. So this was on Monday. Mondays at the restaurant I work at are always very quiet. Like there's not a Monday that gets busy, period. But this Monday, things just happened to be crazy, crazy busy. And I guess we still don't really know why. I think our best guess is that we're leading up to Christmas, people are going shopping. For some reason they were taking the day off work, so they were coming to the restaurant I work at to eat breakfast. But long story short, it was ridiculously busy. On a super busy day, like a Saturday or a Sunday, we have 10 or more servers working. And it just so happened that on Monday, we only had 3 and then 4 servers working. So you can imagine how many more tables everyone has to take when there's 3 or 4 servers rather than when there's 10 or more servers. Now that's just out on the floor. In the kitchen on a weekend, we usually have, 6 or more cooks. Whereas on a Monday, we only have 2. If you don't work in a restaurant, you're not gonna understand this little bit of setting a scene moment, but things are not going to run as smoothly if you don't have as much staff as you need. So what's happening was, as people came into the restaurants, we were having to warn them, telling them that their food could take a half an hour, 45 minutes, even an hour for some people. So that means from the minute when I took their order as a waitress to the minute when the food made it back to their table, right out of my hand to them, it could be up to an hour's wait, which usually would be really unacceptable in our eyes. But when we're so short-staffed and so busy, it's not really that unusual, especially when we're warning people. I was telling my customers, if you are on your lunch break, you only have time to be here for half an hour, grab a coffee, I'll bring you dessert. If you really need to, you can go somewhere else. I'd love to serve you, but if you're in a rush, this is not the place for you today. And people, at the start, they were all great. They're like, oh, no problem, don't worry about it, keep my coffee cup full, I'll be fine, we'll wait, no worries. This is typical though. I know that people are gonna be happy, less happy, less happy, less happy, friggin' furious. That's just how waitressing works. After a few weeks in this job, you start to have quite an intuition on how things are going to work. I have to say though, I was serving a lot of my regulars, which means that, hey kitty. I was serving a lot of my regulars, which means that they were very understanding, very, very sweet, super, super nice to me about things. But what sucked was lots of people who I guess had never been to the restaurant I work in their entire lives decided that was gonna be the day for them to show up. So I had this one table in particular that was really, really bad. So it was an older gentleman and his wife. their daughter, who I'd say is probably like 25 or 30, and then her son. I take their order, they're perfectly happy, they have full drinks, life is good. And then I leave and I pass by 10 minutes later and the guy yells across, you know, where he was sitting in a booth is kind of like tucked away from the main dining room. So I'm walking by right by him and he yells, "Have you even put my order in yet?" And I said, "Sir, of course I put your order in, but just keep in mind we are experiencing like a wait time today. It's gonna be longer than usual. So it's only been about 10 minutes. There is still quite a wait left before your food will be ready." And he kind of grumbled under his breath, but he let it go. And I kept walking, dealt with my other tables. I was getting my food out. I was refilling drinks. I was refilling his coffee and his family's coffee, and I was keeping everything good. And then a little while later, I passed by again. And he goes, "This is absolutely ridiculous." And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. It's been about 20 minutes. You know, there's gonna be a little bit more of a wait for your food." I swear to God, I am super, I see my cat. I swear to God, I am super, super nice. Like, my personality waitressing is not my regular life personality at all. I am overly kind 95% of the time to the people I'm serving. So I'm trying to be nice as possible. I'm assuring him, I'm like, "Your food will be here soon, or as soon as it can be. I'm so sorry for the wait. Here, have some more coffee. Can I refill this? Can I refill that? Can I bring you this?" You know, I'm doing my best I can. Now, then I'm in the servery. If you don't know restaurants, the servery is the back area of the restaurant where the line is. So the cooks make the food, they put it on the line, and then you can take it. So that's like a heater area. So I'm standing there, I'm talking to the cooks, and I'm getting food ready for another table. And all of a sudden, this guy starts walking into the servery. And that's like the biggest no-no in restaurants. Like, most restaurants, the servery is really far away, so it's harder for guests to get there. But this guy just starts walking in, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, sir, you can't come back here. I'll be with you in just a moment." So I rush the food I'm taking out onto the floor. I rush it out to other customers, and I go over to him, and he's like, "What is going on? This is ridiculous. You are an embarrassment and a disgrace." So obviously, immediately, I'm very upset by this, but I was keeping it cool. I was holding my ground. I was still assuring him that everything was gonna be okay. So I said, these are my exact words, "Sir, I promise that myself and the cooks are doing our absolute best." And then he goes, "Well, you know what? Your best just isn't good enough." And I was like blown away. Like, I was shocked because I really truly think that swearing at waitstaff is the worst thing you can possibly do. Like, it's just so unnecessary. And what's crazy is a lot of my other customers also thought it was ridiculous. Like, people were flagging me down just to say they were sorry that was happening to me. But I ended up out back. I have never cried at work in my life, but I'm just crying and crying and crying because, you know, when you're halfway through the rush, you never feel like the rush is gonna end. I never felt like this guy was gonna stop being rude. At this point, I couldn't actually walk out there without this guy tracking me down and complaining on something else, so I couldn't deal with my other customers. In my restaurant, I will admit, they told me I could refuse this guy's service because here you do have the right, if someone's making you uncomfortable, to refuse service to someone. So I didn't want to do that. And looking back on it, that's what I should have done. But I was thinking, this is a table of 4 people. His wife, his daughter, and his grandson are all there. They're being perfectly lovely. And I don't want to make it so that they have to wait even longer for their food, having to switch waitresses, or having to leave. A few minutes later, their food finally comes up. And this is a detail that I need you to remember. I have the food ready for his wife, his daughter, and his grandson sitting on a tray, and I'm just waiting for what he ordered to be done. So they take what he ordered right off of the grill and hand it to me, and I walk out with his food and his family's food, and I give them all their food. He's not talking to me. His wife and daughter said, "Thank you so much. We'll let you know if we need anything else," and I moved on. So I don't want to have to talk to him, so I sent over our manager to ask how their food was. And it's like 2 minutes since they got their food, and he's already done. And she goes, "Okay, sir, how was your food today? I hope it was enjoyable." And he said, "It was horrible. It was cold, and I didn't even like it." And she came back and told me that, and I was like, that's not even possible. It came right off the grill. So this guy was just complaining for the sake of complaining about things. But anyway, I kept going. I still had plenty of other customers to deal with, so I was focusing on all of them, trying to stay away from him. And I keep walking by him intentionally just to see if they're done eating, because I want to get him his bill as quickly as possible. Because frankly, I want him out of the restaurant as quickly as possible. So I have his bill printed off. I'm ready to give it to him the second they're done eating. So I keep walking by, and the grandson is eating super slowly. Like, I mean, he was probably 2 years old, so it makes perfect sense, but he was eating really slowly, and I did not want to interrupt. So then I'm back in the servery again, plating food for another family, when he starts walking into the servery again. Like, when you've been asked to leave one time, I can't imagine why you'd walk in another time, but whatever. So he walks back in, he goes, I'm ready to go now. So now that he's in a servery again, I said, sir, you're going to have to get to the servery, I'm really sorry. So he starts walking out and I just close that door right behind him. He's turned around, I've closed the door in his face. I cannot keep dealing with him at this point, like it's becoming ridiculous. So again, I run this other family's food out into the floor, I run over to him, I bring him his bill, I bring him the machine all in one go, and I'm ready for him to pay. And he goes, this is unbelievable. I've been done eating for 25 minutes. I've been waiting for so long. I cannot believe this. And you know, I know it wasn't 25 minutes, but there's no point in fighting with somebody at this point. I just, you know, started apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you didn't have a good experience today. I hope it's a better experience next time. I hope we'll see you again soon. And he goes, I just want you to know, I have your name and I'll be in contact. On Google and Facebook, yeah, you'll see reviews. And I was like, I accept that, sir. I'm sorry you didn't have a very good experience today. I hope we'll see you again soon. So immediately they get up and leave. I'm completely fine with that. He's finally out of the restaurant. I'm done thinking of him. Keeping going with my other tables, things have been starting to die down. They're getting a lot less busy. People are much happier. And then all my other customers, I have to say, they really compensated for how horrible he was. Obviously he didn't tip me. My other customers apologized for how horrible he was. And this lovely lady, God bless her soul, pulls a bath bomb out of her purse and she's like, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Here's a bath bomb for you. Like, how sweet is that? So the rush ends. At the end of my shift, I'm just cleaning up and my manager says, hey Juliana, there's someone out front who needs to talk to you. And I was thinking like maybe my mom came to ask like when I was getting off my shift or something. But no. His daughter came back to apologize for how horrible he was to me. She was saying how he's not usually like that. She couldn't believe it. She was so sorry. She left me money as a tip because he hadn't tipped me, obviously. And honestly, just that made me feel so much better. She told me she was most of the way home and she just felt so guilty about what had happened that she had to come back and apologize to me. And I have to say, things like that make such a big difference. Like, I was really upset. Like, it had ruined my day. As much as I shouldn't let things like that ruin my day, it had ruined my day. That just definitely fixed things. Like, I'm still not happy with it. I'm still very upset. You can probably tell right now how passionate I am about how I do not think behaving like that towards your waitress is appropriate. But his daughter really did smooth things over. So somehow it took me like 12 minutes. When I edit this, it'll probably be shorter, but it took me like 12 minutes just to tell that one story. So I've decided I'm not going to tell my other story right now. I'm gonna say that for another video. Comment down below right now if you want to see another waitress horror story video. But I do just want to finish this off talking about restaurants, behaviors in restaurants, and not tipping your waiters because I think that's literally the worst thing you can ever do. So I know this is controversial, but I do not think there's really ever a situation where it's appropriate not to tip your waitress. For a lot of reasons. First of all, you have to recognize that most of the things that go wrong in restaurants are not your waitress's fault. So if the food's taking too long, well, your waitress is not cooking it, so that's not her problem. If it took you too long to be seated, your waitress is not seating you. That's not her problem. There are just so many things in a restaurant that are not your server's fault. Unless you physically see your server drop your food, it's probably not her fault that things went wrong. So penalizing her is not appropriate. Him or her. Penalizing him or her, I shouldn't say her, but when you think waitress, you think girl, so every time I say waitress, picture I say waiter or waitress. Furthermore, and I don't know why this is not more common knowledge, your waitress tips out on everything. So it works differently in every restaurant. In the restaurant I work in, I give away 4% of my sales. So just for simple math's sake, let's say I sell $500 worth of food in a day, I give away $20. I mean, that's not a huge ratio, except that if I don't get tipped at all, which is never gonna happen, but if I don't get tipped at all, I give away $20 out of my pocket. So that means I could actually make negative $20 out of that day. Obviously I still make minimum wage, but negative $20 comes out of my pocket right then. Now that's never gonna happen, but I wanna give you another example that will make a little bit more sense. If I have a large family bill, comes out to $100, it's never gonna be exactly $100, but for math's sake, let's go $100. They pay for their bill, and they only give me $100, they don't tip me a single cent, I pay $4 on that. Which means that I've paid $4 to do all of the work it took to serve you. And people think it's no work. There is a lot of work going on behind the scenes, especially where I work. So the kitchen makes all the food. We do all the condiments, the sides you want. We get everything ready out back. There's a lot that goes into it for waitresses on the food end. We also make all the drinks, whether it be alcoholic or regular. We run everything. We don't work the same way as a high-end restaurant. So I feel especially strongly about this in your average family restaurants, diner restaurants. You need to be tipping your wait staff. Now, 15% is your regular tip amount. I'm not gonna beat around the bush on that. 15% is average. If you're going under 15%, you're either being rude or you're sending the message that the service was not good. And you know, I'm fine with that. There have been plenty of times where I have tipped a no, not plenty of times. There have been maybe a few times in my entire life where I've tipped a waitress 10% because I genuinely thought that the service was not good. I can only think of one time that I can remember recently where I did not tip 15% or more. I was at a bar downtown. My friend and I were there. We got one drink. We'd asked for a second drink. It didn't come for like half an hour. There was something that was like going wrong. And then we asked for our bills to leave and then I tipped 10%. There's just been a lot of issues going on and there wasn't any apology for the fact that there'd been issues. So I tipped 10% of my drink and I left. But I make a point of tipping 15% average, 20% for good service, and even 25% if something's gone above and beyond for me. So if you're tipping less than 15%, you don't have an excuse. The only excuse I ever hear, honestly, is, oh, well, you know, like money is tight. I don't quite have enough money to tip, so I can only pay for my food. And I'm sorry, but it's my opinion that you can't afford to go out and eat if you can't also tip. When I see a price on a menu, I calculate tax in my head and then tip on top of that in my head because that's how much the food's actually gonna cost me. I know people are gonna be so heated over my opinion on this, but yeah. And I do have some friends who don't tip, and that's completely fine. I'm not judgmental about that. I'm more so judgmental of the general public, but I also don't mind telling my friends I think they're in the wrong. Oh, that reminds me. One time I actually did not tip. The waitress was lying about something. Like, we overheard her lying about something to do with our table so that it would cost my friend more money, so I didn't tip her. Like, that is one time where I can genuinely justify, like, she did something wrong, but that's the only time I can remember ever not tipping. So basically, all I want the message of this video to be is don't be a dick. Like, if you go to a restaurant, understand that your server is probably going through so much stuff that you can't see. Like, you don't see their home life. You don't know what's going on after or before they get to work. All you see is them running around, bringing your food, doing the absolute best they can. So be kind, be patient, tip well, especially if you have good service, and yeah, just be a nice person. Honestly, that's what I want this message to be. I really apologize because I know I got super heated in this video, but I hope the story I told you makes sense. I hope my opinion isn't like way out there. Let me know down below what you think. I don't mind having a conversation about it in the comments. I won't be argumentative. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Definitely comment down below what you want to see for next time, because where I'm on break now, I do have a lot more opportunities to make content for you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys again soon.